Alright guys, so we continue from where we left off, and I just want us to do a little correction here before we move on. Select the object we just created and go into edit mode and take the very first vertex at the very top here, this very vertex here. We're going to move that back a little bit so we can get a sort of edge over here, same as we have down here. So before we do that, take a look up here, this sort of arrow and bow type looking thing here. We have, it says shows gizmo of all types, so click on that to enable it. When it's blue, that means it's enabled, and click on the arrow here to bring down some menus and enable the move over here. Enable it to get this. So let's get into position and let's hold the arrow here. With that one selected, hold the arrow and move that back in the y-axis a little bit like that. Taking a look down there, let's move it back a little bit more. And now let's take this one as well. We're going to move that also back a little bit compared to the down there. Right there. Yeah, so that is good. There's this option in Blender that allows you to control the amount. As you can see, if you take a look here, when I zoom in too close, you can see the mesh starts disappearing, and it's a kind of a setting I know in Blender 2.79, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's available in this one too, so maybe if I find that, I'll let you guys know and we can change it. I found it somewhere just a few minutes ago. I'm not too sure though, but for now let's just keep working like that. I'll search on it and let you guys know, and we can change it so we can zoom in much more closer without it disappearing. Alright, so this is what we have. Let's keep it that way. So we're going to press Ctrl and R through the middle and move it all the way up here. Press E and F to align with the top and move it here. Now press Ctrl and R through the middle here. Scroll up until we have 3 cuts. Left click and then right click. So there it is. The windshield is finished. The guide, of course. So now what we're going to do is going to create a guide for the whole body now. The whole body that goes around this. And if you take a look at this, ignore all these extrusions coming out of the body. All this, including the holes in the door, the lines, the cutouts. Ignore everything. If you take a look at it, you can see it's just a straightforward body panel. It just goes all the way back to the side and then comes to the other side. So we're just going to create one half, use a mirror modifier to duplicate it on the other, and we're going to use that to create the guide. And after that, when we're creating each panel on its own, then we'll put in these extra details you're seeing here. So let's get started. We are going to go into side view and we're going to add in a plane. So make sure your cursor is in the center of the world by pressing Shift and S and choosing cursor to world origin. So get to the side view now, press Shift and A, add in a mesh plane. Go into edit mode, press X and choose edge collapse. So move this up to this side right here. Press G and let's move that all the way in the y-axis to the very back. So see around here, and I'll press E and extrude this to the very front over here. Let's make sure it's on it right there. Let's go into top view and make sure it lies very much well in top view as well. So select the whole thing, move it in the x-axis to here, and take this vertex right here, move that back in the x-axis, move it right here to there. So let's just slide this back until it falls in the center right here. And I'm pretty sure that I moved it inside a little bit as well. But yeah, okay, so let's keep it inside instead, right in the center. There's not much of a difference, just something small. Now let's take this one and let's move it back to the side. So I'm gonna move it to, I don't know, say right here at the end here. Let's move it right here. Now we're gonna get to the side view, and we're going to add in more vertices in the middle, extra vertices to align it with the line it is supposed to follow over here. So press Ctrl and R and scroll up until we have 20 cuts like that. So we're going to align each of these on the line now. Put each of the vertex on the line, each and every single one. I think in cases like this, when I'm moving things that are obvious for you guys to do, like, you know, move the vertices up as we're doing right now, I would have to time lapse these sides to the very end when I finish, and then the video continues in the normal speed. So I'm going to do the same in top view, I presume. Yeah. So we have to do the same in top view as well. On these sides, just make sure the line right here falls in the middle of the blueprint line, because there's no blueprint line in the middle here. And make sure that happens also on this side. Just make sure you get that also on this line. Make sure the line falls right in the center. Nice. So this is what we have. Now if we get into front view, you can see it's not pretty much aligning, and that's because this side is actually a bevel. Okay, so if you take a look here, you can see it's pretty rounded. It's not just a straight hash edge. So don't expect it to follow the line because it's beveled. Alright, it's a beveled edge. So maybe if we bevel it, then the middle line that we bevel it with could fall right on this line right here. So just keep things as is for now, and let's keep it going. So what we're going to do now is to extrude this down. As you can see, it's pretty flat. So we're going to extrude this down to some point. So let's press E and then Z. Extrude it down to, let's get to the side view now. Okay, so it's curved here. So let's press S and then Z. Scale that in the Z axis and type in 0 to straighten the line. So now press G and then Z. This is where it ends at. If you take a look at the reference photo, it ends right here, and this is the line right here. So we're going to send it beyond that. So press G and then Z and move that about here. Move that to the very bottom of it, like that. And we're going to push this in a little bit, because as you can see at the bottom, it moves in a little. So we're going to move that in a little bit, like that, I think. So I think that should be good. Let's get into solid view. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's good. So I think the way it bumps in is good enough, like that. So what we're going to do now is to add in a subdivision surface modifier. So get in here. First, let's add in a mirror modifier. So look for mirror and subdivision surface. So you can see how the mirror is working. It's duplicating it. That's because we haven't applied the rotation. So let's apply the rotation right now, so it duplicates in the right axis, like that. So press Ctrl and A and select rotation to apply the rotation, like that. So let's get back into front view. Let's shade the surface to be smooth now. So first of all, change the viewport of the subdivision to 2 and go to object and select shade smooth from the list right there, like that. So this is what we have now. We're going to go into front view again. We're going to go into front view, press Ctrl and R, add in 2 or 3, hold on, let's get to the side view. Let's get into wireframe. We need to get a line that falls right on this line over here to create this thing we're seeing here. So let's press Ctrl and R and add in. Okay, so that might be a little difficult, so it's not falling on it. Let's move this up a little bit in the Z axis, and let's try again. A little bit more in the Z axis, a little bit more, and I think that falls on it, so that is good. So add in 3 loop cuts, like that, left click and right click, and I'm going to press Alt and S to flatten this out like that until look up here and press Alt and S and move the mouse down until it falls in the center of the blueprint line. Now hold down Shift and Alt, click in the middle of this edge loop to deselect it, click in the middle of the one at the bottom and deselect that as well. And just Alt and S this one also out just a little bit, like that. So we have a nice progressive curvature to the bottom. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So that is looking very good. Let's get into front view and make this side a little bit more flatter. So let's press Alt and S and move that one out a little bit more, like that. And let's move this out a little bit more, like that. So you can see it's a little bit more flatter over here until it gets here and then it starts going inside like that. So I think that is looking good. Let's change the markup to the red one, and yeah, I think that's it. Let's get into side view. Make sure the line in the center is falling. Yeah, so that's good. It's falling right on it. So let's take this one, let's get to the top, and let's create the part that moves to the side of the body. So what we're going to do is we are going to press Shift and then D, and then let's move that over here, rotate it 90 degrees, negative 90 degrees, like that, and move it onto this side. Hold on. Press G and move that onto, I'm not sure, say, move it here. Get to the side view. Now we have to flatten this to match the rear side, like that. So press S and then Y and scale this like this. Move it back and make sure it falls on the blueprint line first. So let's move it back. Press S and then Y. Let's scale it until it falls. Taking a look at the bottom here. Scale it until it falls right in the center of the blueprint line, like that. And move it back to its position right here. Now let's make sure we scale it in the X-axis until it's flat as well, because you can see it's a little bit curvy like that. So press S and then X and type in 0 to scale it in the X-axis flat like that. Alright, so with that done, we're going to take this now. We are going to take this one as well, this furry one here. Press Shift and then D, and let's move that in the X-axis to, say, here. Okay, let it be right here. The very first vertex is in the center of the blueprint line. Now select that edge and select this one. Press space and then type in shade smooth. Sorry, I meant bridge edge loops. Bridge edge loops. Bridge edge loops, and select bridge edge loops. And click over here and add in one cut like that. Close that menu. Let's get to the top, and this is what we have. So what we're going to do is, let me just get an image of the rear view. So open up your folder where your references are and open this image right here, and let's get a view. So this is what it looks like right now. So we're going to try, this is the curve we're following right now, so we're going to try and then get that curve right at the top here. So you can see it's almost there, but we just have to move it on top of it. Don't look at this one. This is the very bottom curve. That is not what we're going for. It's the curve that is at the bottom here that you're seeing on the inner side. That is not what we are going for. We're going for the curve that is up here, the very edge of it. So press G, and then let's make sure that side falls on it like that. So that falls on it very nicely. Now select everything and then press E and then move that out here. Left click to keep it in place, and I'll press Alt and S, and let's share this, or let's scale this out to about, scale it out until it is about the same, is about in the same place as this one. So press Alt and S. Let's do that again. Undo and press Alt and S until you think it's about there, like that. Now once you're done doing that, just press Ctrl and R through the middle here. Left click, then right click, press X and delete those vertices. Now hover your mouse over the inner one and press L to select it. Press X and delete those vertices. Now I'm going to select this vertex here and this one. Press Alt and M and choose at last. So the order at which you selected vertex is very important. As you can see, I selected this one first before that one. Then press Alt M and set at last. Now we're going to select this one again and hold Shift and select that one last, and we're going to press Shift and R to repeat the command we applied on these vertices here. So basically it has stored the previous command that we used, which is merge at last. So if we press Shift and R, it will just do that instantly. So just press Shift and R and you can see it repeats the command. So the order is very important. Just make sure you select the order very well. So this one first and that one second, Shift and R, and then it merges at last, like that. So this is what we're doing. We're having some normal problems. So let's go back into edit mode, select everything. First off, let's shade smooth. So get into object mode, select object and click on shade smooth. Now go into edit mode, select all of the vertices and press Shift and N to recalculate the normals, like that. That is good. So we're going to select the very edge here. We're going to go into the top view. And under the mirror, enable clipping, the mirror modifier. Now press E and then extrude this to the very center until it merges, like that. So with that done, you can see this is the line we're going for. You can see the line here. Even though the line is out here, it all comes to meet with this line as it progresses to the very middle of the trunk. So what we're going to do is in the middle here, we're going to align it to fall on this exact blueprint line. So press the right arrow key and move this until your vertex falls right on the blueprint line, like that. So let's get into side view, and you can see it's almost, it's on it, it's even on it. So you can see the vertex is right on it, like that. So we're going to go to the back right here now. Press Ctrl and R until we have 4 should be enough, 4 cuts, left click, then right click. So let's get to the top view now. We're going to align this each and every one to fall on the line. So let's get into wireframe and select all of this, move it back until it falls on the line. Select all of this, move it back till it falls on the line. Select all of this, move it back till it falls on the line. And finally this one. So like I was saying, it progresses and becomes one line over here. So you can see I moved it on the line that is behind it right here. Instead of this one, I moved it on this one, like that. So that is good. Let's take a look at that, how that looks. That is looking good. That's looking very good. Alright. So I think we may have actually, okay, it's good enough. It's enough. So let's get to the top view now. Oh no, the side view. And we're going to select all of this. We're going to create this bevel over here, this sort of edge over here. That's what we're going to create now. So press E and then Z. Move that up a little bit, like that. First off, delete that extrusion. Let's get to the top. Let's get to the front view here. Take this. Let's get out of edit mode. Select this and hide it. Go back into edit mode. Take this vertex here. Press E and then X until it merges at the center. And then hold down Shift and Alt and click on the edge here to select all of those vertices. Now press F to fill the face. Press F to fill the face. Let's get to the top view. Get into wireframe. And I'm going to press I and insert the faces until it falls right or goes beyond that line we have over there. Now after you insert the faces, you can see it inserts at the very mirror here as well. You can see it inserts here as well, but we don't want that. We want it to go straight through to the other side. So just click on, after inserting the faces, as soon as you're done inserting the faces, as soon as you press the I and insert the faces, don't do anything else. Just click on this and then disable boundary, so it doesn't insert faces on the boundary of the mesh, like that. So with that done, press X and delete the face now. So all we're going to do now is to add in another edge loop here, and we're going to align that one with the actual edge line. So press E and then F to align with the outside one and align it with the edge line. Right now we don't know what the edge line is, so let's just let's move this here, select this one and delete it. And I'm going to use this to form the edge line. So press G twice until it falls right on the line, as you can see here, till it falls right on it, like that. Let's press G twice, move that back a little bit. So just deselect this, select the whole edge, hold on, select the whole edge again, deselect this one because it's already in place, you can see, and press G twice, move this one also in place, deselect it, move this one in place. I'm pretty sure most of it fall in place after that. Deselect it, press G twice, move that in place, deselect it, G twice, move that in place, deselect it. Yeah, so that falls in line, this falls in line, all of these are falling in line. Yeah, so they all fall in line now, so that should be good. That should be good. So all we're going to do now is go into front view or side view. Now let's go to the back view instead. It's pretty visible in the back. So we're going to take the outer ones here, these outer ones, just hold out and select those outer ones. Let's get to the back view. And I'm going to press G and then Z and move it to the second line below here. So just move it to this line right here and take the top one and move that up to the middle of the blueprint line like that till we have that. So you can see what I meant by the bevel being, this not being sharp but a bevel instead. So that is what we're going to achieve once we finish this. So let's keep going. We're almost done with the guide mesh. So let's just go on to this side now, press Ctrl and R through here, press E to align with the top and move that very close to the top like that. Now we're going to go into the middle, press Ctrl and R through there, add in 3 loop cuts, left click, right click, and hold Alt, deselect the outer one, hold Alt, deselect the lower one, and with the middle one selected, press X and dissolve those edges like that. So now I'm going to select the innermost edges now, the vertices in the very inside. I'm going to get to the side view. I'm going to press E and then Z and move this up. We're going to extrude it up way past beyond where it ends here to the middle of this black panel here, which is what we're seeing here, this panel here. Just move it to the middle there. Let's get on to the side view now so you can see what we have. We have to shape it better now. So hold Alt, click on it twice to select just the outer edges here. Make sure this is the active element right there. Now press S and then X and scale this in until it falls right here. Take a look here and make sure this side falls in the middle of the line. So you can see it falls right in the middle like that. So that is good. Now we're going to get to the side and we're going to scale this in as well. We're going to scale it in from a specific point, say here. So from this vertex here all the way to the back. So just select that vertex and then hold down your right mouse button and select the rest like that. Select it to make it the active element again. Press S and then Y. Scale this in until it falls in the middle here as well. So S and then Y until it falls in the middle like that. So we get back into solid and this is what we have. So now we're going to get inside again. Press Ctrl and R. Scroll up till we have 2 cuts. Left click then right click like that. So let's go into wireframe. This was the one we scaled from at the top here. So select those two, press Shift and S and choose Cursor to select it. Now press period and choose 3D Cursor. Now select both of these edge loops. Deselect the ones back here by holding down Control and right clicking over all of them like that. And I'll press S and then Y to scale it out like that. S and then Y, scale it out a little bit like that. And we're going to do the same thing with the very bottom one. So just deselect all of this, click on this one once or twice to make it the active element, press period and change it to active element. Now press S and then Y. Scale this until it falls right in the center like that. So you can see what we have now. So let's get into front view and let's do the same here. So we're going to get into edit mode, select this two, press Shift and S, Keza 2 selected, select all of this, press period, change the pivoting point to 3D Keza, press S and then X, scale this out to about there. And that gives us what we need. So you can see we have it looking good now. This is the guide mesh. So now let's add in a bevel at the bottom to reduce the spread. So press Ctrl and R, slide it down, press E, and make sure it falls right to the bottom. Move it close to it to get that nice bevel going, like that. So the guide mesh is complete, and I'm pretty sure it follows everywhere. You can see it follows here nicely. Yeah, it follows it nicely like that. Same with this side, follows nicely. Very nice on this side as well. But you can see it moves in a little bit more, and that is what we have. And that is looking good. Very nice. Yeah. So this is where I will end the creation of this guide mesh. We'll finish it more by adding in this lip here, and also using that to finish off the hood guide mesh. The fender's guide mesh, like that. And we can move on to creating the guide mesh for the roof as well. And once we are done that, we can start creating the panels itself. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Now before we go, I wanted to fix this real quick. I forgot to do that. The very top here, you can see it needs to fall in the center of these two blueprint lines here. So let's do that right now. But first, we have to dissolve these two edge loops again. So dissolve those edges right now. Dissolve the one we added below as well. And let's get onto the top view and do this first. So we are going to take the very one that we scaled on the side here. Let me get into wireframe, and I think that is this one, all the way to the very end here. Make sure this is the active element, and let's press S and then Y and scale it. Let's change the pivoting point to active element, press S and then Y. Now let's scale it to the very center like that over here. So make sure it falls in the center. And what we're going to do now is to also, we're going to take these ones here. Let's take it from here, or from this one, all the way to the beginning here. Add this one as well. Press period, yeah, and change the pivoting point to median point. And press S and then X. And let's scale this down to scale it in the x-axis down a little bit like that. Let's see if that worked. Yeah, so let's move that in the x-axis now to about the center like that, the whole thing. And let's share this in the x-axis. Press Ctrl Alt Shift and S and type in and press X or Y instead. Yeah, Y. And share this like this to fall in the center like that. So you can see they are all falling in the center now. That is what we're looking to achieve. Now we select this one, press G, or instead let's take it from here. So select the very base one, and then this one. Make sure the active element is the one at the base. Press period, change to active element, and go to the top view. Press S and then Shift and Z, and then let's scale this out until that black line falls in the center there like that. Select this one as well, move it out till it falls in the center, and this as well like that. So let's take a look. That is looking good. So now we can press the Ctrl and R again, set this in, get to the side, and yeah, so let's take these two again, press Shift and S, Keza 2 selected. Let's take all of this first. Deselect all of the ones behind here. Make sure the active element is that one, and press S and then Y, scale it a little bit out like that. Do the same with the one below. Deselect all of that, press S and then Y, scale that out like that as well. So let's get onto the front view now. Select this two, press Shift and S, cursor to selected, change the pivot to 3D cursor, select both edges, and press S and then X, and scale this out a little bit like that. Deselect the one at the top, press S and then X, scale that out a little bit like that. And finally, let's add in the edge loop at the bottom again. So E to align with the bottom, and move that down like that. So that was what I wanted to fix before you guys could go. So I'll see you guys in the next video.